Hi guys, how's it going? It's Yi from Dove Computers. The Asus engineers had one simple design brief with the ZenBook UX305CA to come up with an ultrabook that could usurp the Apple MacBook Air. Let's find out if they have succeeded with this mission. Right off the back, the ZenBook UX305CA is lighter and thinner than the MacBook Air, measuring at 1.2 kilograms and 1.23 centimeter thin. Compared to last year's model, Asus have toughened up the body, making it solid and rigid when holding it with one hand. It's a beautiful aluminium design with its spun metal finish on the top, in addition to the diamond cut chamfered edges. It certainly would not look out of place while working with it at the flagship lounge JFK. The fanless Intel M3 processor is married up with a ventilation slot beneath the screen hinge. Talking of the screen, there are 2 feet to lift the laptop up when you open the display, giving you a better typing angle. When you first look at the 13.3-inch IPS display on the UX305CA, you notice the sharp and vivid colours that pop out. The screen resolution measures in at 3200 by 1800 pixels with a pixel density of 276 ppi. The viewing angles are great as you expect from an IPS panel. There is an ambient light sensor that automatically adjusts the brightness. You can disable this if needed, and the 720p webcam sits on top of the screen bezel for Skype video calls. With Windows 10, the default scaling is set to 250% at the Quad HD Plus resolution. Any lower, you'll find yourself using a magnifying glass. There's no touch option, which personally I do miss, but at this price point you can't complain too much. For such a thin ultrabook, Asus have managed to cram in 3 USB 3.0 Type A ports. 2 of them occupy one side with a full-size SD card reader. On the other side there is a USB 3.0 Type A with fast charging, micro HDMI, headphone jack and a couple of indicator lights. There's no Ethernet port, but Asus have been generous enough to include a USB to Ethernet adapter with the UX305CA. A big shout out to Asus for allowing you to choose whether you would like bloatware during the initial setup. More manufacturers should follow this lead. This review model comes with the Intel M3 passive cooled CPU along with 8GB of RAM and a fast 256GB Micron Badge M.2 SSD. Running Crystal Disk Mark, the SSD gave quick read and write speeds. In general usage, the UX305CA coped with most basic tasks thrown at it, propped by a speedy SSD. Anything more intensive like Premiere Pro video editing, and you'll notice the M3 CPU bottleneck. The integrated Intel HD 515 graphics chip limits gaming to the most basic non-taxing games, so forget about sneaking some playing time with Overwatch on this ultrabook. The stereo speakers are positioned at the bottom of the UX305CA chassis. They're not particularly loud but would be fine for most people absorbing media consumption. Otherwise, plug in your Bose QC35s, sit back and relax. I found the keyboard on the ZenBook to be a joy to type on. The spaced out 1.5mm key travel on this thin ultrabook helps to ensure you type fast and accurately. My only gripe with this keyboard was the lack of a backlit option. As a night owl, I miss this feature. The other gripe is the on-off power button is next to the delete key. Hello? Crazy design here. Finally, there are no dedicated page up and down keys. The touchpad is good to use. It's fairly large with multi-touch gesture options. On this review model, we didn't find any driver issues that other reviewers highlighted while using the touchpad. No surprise with the Quad HD Plus panel, there would always be a compromise in the battery life department. Having said that, with the Intel M3 Frugal chip, it managed a useful 7 hours plus with general use at 40% brightness from the 44 watt-hour battery. So let's sum up. The Asus ZenBook UX305CA is beautifully designed, silent, slim and lightweight. It beats the MacBook Air with 3 useful USB 3 Type A ports, a Quad HD Plus IPS panel with great viewing angles and colours. The keyboard is great to type on, but I wish it had backlighting and the on-off button was not positioned next to the delete key. The speakers are above average but could be louder. Performance is excellent for general usage, but not great if you're a serious worker or hardcore gamer. The battery life is around 7+ hours, not bad for ultrabook with Quad HD Plus display. Finally, the icing on the cake is all this in a package costing £635, almost £364 less than the 13-inch MacBook Air. What do you guys think? Leave your comments and discuss below. Hope you guys enjoyed this review of the Asus ZenBook UX305CA Ultrabook. Please click on the like button if you enjoyed this review video and subscribe if you would like to watch more of our tech videos. Thanks for watching. Cheers.